Okay, so we have two chapters left on this part, and then I'm going to switch over to the next part. And so, thank you once again for joining me as I am talking about Adam and Eve, the truth about Adam and Eve, the full story, which is, truth be told, your pastor, your bishop, this is what they should be talking about, instead of trying to um, condemn YouTubers for pointing out the truth about, some of these wicked men and women in the pulpit. So this is what should be the focus, but often it's not, because these people, they want to take your money. But like I said, that's another story for another time, which is I've already told many, many times before. So let me continue here. So picking up at chapter 30. And like I said, if you want to see, if you want to read or be read to, the previous what I read before, then go watch the video. Chapter 30. After these things, God commanded the angel Gabriel to go down to the garden and say to the cherub who kept it, behold, God has commanded me to come into the garden and to take thence sweet smelling incense and give it to Adam. Then the angel Gabriel went down by God's order to the garden and told the cherub as God had commanded him. The cherub then said, well, and Gabriel went in and took the incense. Then God commanded his angel Raphael to go down to the garden and speak to the cherub about some myrrh to give to Adam. And the angel Raphael went down and told the cherub as God had commanded him, and the cherub said, well, then Raphael went and took the myrrh. The golden rods were from the Indian Sea, where there are precious stones. The incense was from the eastern border of the garden, and the myrrh from the western border, whence bitterness came upon Adam. And the angels brought these three things to God by the tree of life in the garden. Then God said to the angels, dip them in the spring of the water, and take them and sprinkle their water over Adam and Eve, that they be a little comforted in their sorrow, and give them to Adam and Eve. And the angels did as God had commanded them, and they gave all those things to Adam and Eve on the top of the mountain upon which Satan had placed them when he sought to make an end of them. And when Adam saw the golden rods, the incense, and the myrrh, he was rejoiced and wept, because he thought that the gold was a token of the kingdom whence he had come, that the incense was a token of the bright light which had been taken from him, and that the myrrh was a token of the sorrow in which he was. Chapter 31. After these things, God said unto Adam, thou didst ask of me something from the garden, to be comforted therewith, and I have given thee these three tokens as a consolation to thee, that thou trust in me and in my covenant with thee. For I will come and save thee, and kings. Listen to this. For I will come and save thee. Who is the Savior? The world ignorantly calls him Jesus Christ. And I say ignorantly because that's not his name. His name is Yeshaya, and that is Hebrew for my Savior. He calls himself Yeshua. Yeshua means Savior in Hebrew. For I will come and save thee, and kings shall bring me, when in the flesh, gold, incense, and myrrh. Gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, and myrrh as a token of my sufferings and of my death. So I wonder, is that why I like incense so much? Because I'm always liking incense. But Adam, put these by thee in the cave, the gold that it may shed light over thee by night, the incense that thou mayst swell its sweet savor, and the myrrh to comfort thee in thy sorrow. When Adam heard these words from God, he worshipped before him. He and Eve worshipped him and gave him thanks because he had dealt mercifully with him. And see, this is why I just want to point out, this is why you think today that the law is done away with, and that all the feasts and holy days don't matter, but they do. They do. They do. I'm going to show you how much they matter. Here we are, Isaiah 66, starting at verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth. See, that's future. That means a future prophecy. See, because I'm not functionally illiterate, I can read. See, it says new heavens and the new earth. I mean, judging by the looks of things, are we on a new earth? Are the heavens new? No. So that means that this is a prophecy. That's what that means. This is going to happen in the future. Which I will make shall remain before me, saith the Lord. So shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass, verse 23, that from one new moon to another. What's that? From one Sabbath. That don't say Sunday. That don't say Sunday. Because God did not hallow and sanctify the first day of the week. He hallowed and sanctified the last day of the week. Forever. Forever. Do you know what forever means? It means forever. No, until Christ come on the cross. No, it means forever, even after that. That's why Christ said in Matthew 5:17 through 19, that's why he said what he said. And we're going to go there in a minute. From one Sabbath to another shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcass of men like wannabe Bishop Clarence McClendon, wannabe Bishop Winans, both of them. The big slow one. I'm sorry, both Marvins. Sapp and Winans. TD Jake the Snake Mistake, Creative Flow of Dollars, Joyce Jokerface Meyer, Benny Hennessy, who had an affair with Paula Not So Pure White, whose ex-husband was a crackhead. That Tiffany, what's her name? Tiffany Murphy, she gonna be up in there having a swim. Brianna Carnisha Girl and all his mistresses and the products of his infidelity. They're gonna be up in there. They gonna gag All these false prophets, they gonna gag. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcass of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. That's the judgment. That haven't happened yet, right? Because my point that I'm making is throughout church, because I know how men like Clarence McClendon and men like him think. Oh no, that's the Old Testament. We don't got to do that stuff no more. He's gonna gag on Judgment Day. When I just read that to you about the gold, the incense, and the myrrh, what I was saying was all of this throughout these lost books was a foretelling of Christ coming in the flesh. I've read it in the book of Jubilees, in the book of Jasher. I've read it to you in the accounts of Adam and Eve from the Ethiopian Bible, which is my favorite Bible, besides the King James Version, of course, but those two are my top two. So they'll tell you, oh, this stuff is done away with, but it's not. It's not. The feast days, the holy days, like for instance, the rainbow, all of that was symbolizing a holy feast day. And you're supposed to remember this stuff forever because it's going to be kept. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. What does perpetual mean? Never ending or changing, occurring repeatedly, so frequent as to seem endless and uninterrupted. You want to know why? Because we fell off on the earth. We fell off. But the Most High, his heavenly tables, his luminaries, have never failed. As I've been instructing you, there's a timeline. He knows where we are at in the timeline. See, we have it distorted down here because of, people coming forward thinking to change times and laws, to distort the truth and to keep people from knowing. That's why the Roman Catholic Church and the ill-ish people, the imposters, they kept certain information out because they didn't want you to know. And then they ran the seminary theologians. So they, any black pastor that did go, they taught them wrong on purpose. All of this is going to be revealed in the last days. All of it. Everything that I'm saying is going to be revealed. And what's going to be sad is the day that when there's no more money to be made, you're going to see a lot of these preachers and pastors just up and quit, disappear, leaving their flocks, leaving their congregations. And on that day, a lot of you that's in these pews, you are going to have to take some accountability. How didn't you see the red flags? They were right there in your face. How are you so mesmerized by a false prophet? You want to know why? Because in the last days, people ain't going to be seeking. They're not going to seek the truth. They're going to hear smooth things. They're going to want to hear motivational speakers like Joella O'Queen. It's not a pastor. That's a motivational speaker. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. You know what forever means? In 6 days, the Lord made heaven and earth, 6,000 years. Because a day is worth 1,000 years to the Lord. And on the seventh day, he rested and was refreshed. That last 1,000 years, he rested. It's right in your face, on your calendars. And I'm telling you, men like Clarence McClendon and a lot of these men, this is where they're going to fall. This is where they're going to fall. Because, see, they can argue all day with me. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we just had church on Wednesday. Knowing dang on well, trying to use a play on words. I'm talking about the day you chose to have your weekly holy convocation on. Your weekly. How about this? Which day of the week do your church be packed the most? What day does Mother's Day usually fall on? What day do them women wear them ugly hats in the Church of Garbage and Crisis? Sunday. See, people, and then they get caught up like, look, I'm not saying this. The Most High established this. He blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, which means he made it holy. Here in the New Testament, the law is still in effect. These teachers, these preachers have taught y'all wrong. Look, let's read it. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. And for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Has heaven and earth passed? I woke up today, I woke up on the earth. Heaven was above me. One jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. And this is the part that y'all miss in the Christian church. And you would think with McClendon's Coke bottle glasses so thick, he would be able to see this part. Till all be fulfilled. Till all. See that word, all? Has Christ had his second coming yet? No. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that at all, because I know it's going to happen. Do I know it? No, I don't know when. Nobody knows the hour. But I know it's going to happen. But it hasn't happened yet. So what that means is that not one jot or one tittle has passed yet. Yes, Christ did come in the flesh. He came to do what he did on Calvary. That's part of it. He has to come back to establish his 1,000-year kingdom on earth. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so. See, these men like McClendon are teaching men so. He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever do them and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. This is Matthew 22:37. Yes, Christ did give 2 commandments. He simplified 613 laws. That's pretty much broken down into 10 commandments. And Christ simplified those 10 commandments with 2 commandments. The first commandment, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And how do you do that? Here you go. The first law he gave is the first stone tablet. The second law he gave, love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the second stone tablet. See, the first law that Christ gave, the first stone tablet, that's how you love God. You follow these commandments. That's how you love God right here. And what does the fourth command say? Oh, keep the Sabbath holy. It's a reason why he said, remember the Sabbath. Because he knew we would forget. The second tablet is how you love man. Thy neighbor as thyself. In verse 40, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. That means that when you want to say to me, oh, that's the Old Testament, we don't got to do that, we don't got to follow that, you wrong. You wrong. And you're going to bust hell wide open. Let me show you. Because see, they'll say, oh, we don't got to follow those no more. But then they love to run the paw, right? They love to run the paw, but they don't. Somehow, they functionally illiterate selves, they forgot Acts 18, verse 21. But bade them farewell, saying, I must by all means keep this feast that cometh in Jerusalem. What feast was that? What feast was that, Pastor? I thought the feast was done away with. And this is after Christ. Because you know that's something that they'll try to pull. Oh, show me after Christ. This is after Christ. Here go your boy Paul going to keep a feast in Jerusalem. But these people sit up and tell you that this stuff was done away with. No, you interpreted and you learned wrong. And you've been wrong. You want to sit up and point the finger at other people. But ye are so full of sin and error in the scriptures. You're going to gag. Look, then when you go up, right? Paul, Acts 18 and verse 18. For he had a vow. What vow was that, Pastor? What vow was that? The vow of a Nazarite. And you can go to number 6 and you can read that. Look. Oh, and that's in the Old Testament, sir. Now, I said in Acts 18, Paul had a vow, right? But I thought that stuff was done away with. You can go, that's your homework. You go look at number 6 and read it. It's pretty much they taking a vow. You know, they can't drink no grapes, no strong drink. No, got to let the hair grow. And then they got to perform a ritual. So when you can go look at that in number 6. But then when you fast forward from Acts 18 to Acts 21 and start going through the scriptures down to verse 17. Look. See, because they was trying to, and they are informed of thee that thou teach all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses. They was lying on Paul. But they came up with a plan in verse 23. Because they believed in their brother Paul. They knew that was a lie. So look, verse 23. Do therefore this that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. What vow? The same vow that Paul took back in Acts 18 and 18. The vow of a Nazarite. Verse 24. Them take and purify thyself with them and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, one of the requirements, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly and keepest the law. It's right here. It's right here. You men like Clarence McClendon and the one that I used to argue with that used to try to argue me up and down, that I grew up under, y'all are some wicked, evil men that can't read. You might know what your daddy and your mammy told you, but you definitely ain't studied this for yourself. And then it's a shame because you hear some of these men and women, they'll get, oh yeah, I get up early in the morning and read the Bible. Somehow you missed this though. Look, as touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols. That goes back to that first commandment on the stone tablet, from the law, and from blood, which is in the law, and from strangled, which is in the law, and from fornication, which is in the law. I mean, because y'all love to throw Leviticus 20 and 13 at the gays. There's a whole bunch of other sexual laws too. So I read that part because then you'll have these men, oh, we're Gentiles, we're Gentiles. Okay. So you coming into an Israelite covenant. Christ ain't a Christian. He's a Hebrew Israelite. Christ never called himself a Christian, and neither did the disciples. They were called Christians in Antioch. Somebody else called them that. They didn't call that. They didn't call themselves that. And when you read the scriptures, they didn't even respond to it. Because they were not Christians. Christians were around at that time. They were pagan. The earliest believers of Christ were called Messianics. Why ain't your pastor telling you this stuff? Why ain't McClendon, Chevy boxhead self, telling you this? Oh, because he too busy worried about the YouTubers exposing him. Or exposing his friends. That's what he worried about. Coming up with false doctrines. Lying right in the pulpit. Lying. And then when he get in judgment, that's going to be brought up. It's going to be brought up. And he's going to gag. Them glasses going to fall right off his face. His eyeballs going to get so big. When you find out, no, sir, you are actually the deceiver. You and men like you and Tiffany Montgomery and Juanita buying that hoe. Y'all are the deceivers. Here we go, though. Right here. Paul had a vow. I just showed you in the scriptures where it says Paul was going back to Jerusalem to keep a feast. But they will sit up and tell you that this stuff was done away with. How is it done away with when they are literally doing it after Christ? I'm reading this to you. I'm showing you. This is how I know a lot of people in the church are functionally illiterate. Because right here in Acts 2, it literally says, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come. That's a holy feast day. That's a holy feast day. Skipping down to verse 5, and there were And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. I wonder. Because kind of like in the law, when they talk about the feasts and holy days, how it says you have to come back to Jerusalem. Dum dum. Yeah, that's what this is right here. You want to know why I had to come back? Because we have been scattered through slavery, through captivity. This is what they should be. This is what they should be teaching you in church. This the back of the book right here. Can't get no more New Testament than Revelation. Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, Israel, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which is us, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yeshua Christ. Okay? You need both. You have to keep the commandments and you have to have the testimony of Christ. Here again, Revelation 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God. What commandments? What commandments? And the faith of Yeshua. See? So, finishing up, for I will come and save thee. Who? Christ. And kings shall bring me in the flesh gold, incense, and myrrh. Gold as a token of my kingdom, incense as a token of my divinity, and myrrh as a token of my suffering and of my death. Who died? Christ on the cross. So my question to you is, how is this not canon? When all through this I've been reading the prophecies about Christ. The Most High was even telling Adam and Eve what was coming in the future. But Adam, put these by thee in the cave, the gold, that it may shed light over thee by night, the incense that thou smellest sweet savor, and the myrrh to comfort thee in thy sorrow. When Adam heard these words from God, he worshipped before him. He and Eve worshipped him and gave him thanks because he had dealt mercifully with them. Then God commanded the three angels, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, each to bring what he had brought and give it to Adam. They did so, one by one. And God commanded Sariel and Salathiel to bear up Adam and Eve and bring them down from the top of the high mountain and to take them to the cave of treasures. There they laid the gold on the south side of the cave, the incense on the eastern side, and the myrrh on the western side. For the mouth of the cave was the north side. The angels then comforted Adam and Eve and departed. The gold was 70 rods, the incense 12 pounds, and the myrrh 3 pounds. These remained by Adam in the house of treasures, therefore was it called of concealment. But other interpreters say it was called the cave of treasures by reason of the bodies of righteous men that were in it. These three things did God give to Adam on the third day after he had come out of the garden, in token of the 3 days the Lord should remain in the heart of the earth. Come on now. Who was in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights? I know you can't explain how it happened or how you got Friday. How you got 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to Sunday. I know you can't explain that. But I am asking, who was in the tomb? We all know that. Who was in the heart of the earth? We all know that. It was Christ. So again, how is this not canon? And these three things, as they continued with Adam in the cave, gave him light by night, and by day they gave him a little relief from his sorrow. Now, I find it funny that this McClendon dude want to talk about real ministries when the whole world just got a look at these so-called quote unquote real ministries that failed a spiritual test when they were called. And I'm not saying all churches were called, but I am saying that the majority of the churches that were called and didn't respond to that pregnant, grieving mother, remember that a few weeks ago or a few months ago? How that woman was calling around. She had a baby playing in the background, a recording, acting like she needed formula. How many of your real ministries, quote unquote, flunked that test? Then what was sad, you had men even then saying, "Oh, that's not of God." And so I pointed out, well, God tested Abraham and he was going to make him slay his own son to test his faith, to see what he do with. So is that not of God? God tests us. And that's the problem. These men don't like to be, they want to play God. They want to be God. They want to be exalted. They want to be looked at as knowledgeable, and many of them are not. I'm telling you, they not. They're not knowledgeable in the scriptures. A lot of them are not. And they don't care. All they care about is the money. A lot of them. As I said on my last video, well, no, not on my last video, but on one of my videos, I told you, I said, I grew up around this. I came from this. He want to sit up and talk about YouTubers, but I guarantee you, he get after church service, he get home, he get on the phone, and he gossip. I guarantee you he do. He gossip. They all do it. I've sat and watched. They gossip, talk about, you know, telling each other's business. Well, such and such came in the office and asked for some money. He lost a job, and just telling the person's business and everything else. Gossiping. But it's okay when they do it. It's okay when they have text message threads talking about the very members that's putting money in their pockets. It's unreal. And what's also unreal is how often, many times, people in the pews will sit there and sometimes they will see these red flags within these people and they will still stay. They will still sit there. There's going to be judgment for that too. Matthew 24, 4-5. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. We seeing it. This not talking about Buddha. This not talking about Buddhists. It's not. Buddha ain't coming in the name of Christ. It's not talking about the false religion of Islam. which is I have whole videos on Islam, man. I don't even debate about with people about Islam anymore. I have whole videos showing the proof that before the 7th century, there was no such thing as Islam. You can Google this. Before the 7th century, there was no Quran. They worshipped Persian mythology, some Zohar stuff or something like that, but Persian mythology too. And I think it's what, Zoroastrian or something. I don't know, but I don't care. But they had 364 gods, and they would worship a different god each day of the year. 364 of them. Okay? I've talked about Allah and his daughters. Allah is Baal. And what's so funny about those Muslims, you know, especially like the African ones, you know, not the Arabs, but the African ones. I be cracking up at them because it's like, you know, y'all come over here talking about America is gonna be an Islamic state. It's y'all prophecy. First of all, y'all prophecy didn't even it wasn't invented until after the 7th century. But my thing is, if you want Sharia law and you want Islamic State so bad, take yourself to Yemen. Take yourself to uh, Afghanistan or you know where this is where you know Islam is practiced, where Sharia law is at. You notice they never want to go over there. No, they wanted to come here, which is that's how you know that they are bat blank crazy because oh, you can't survive over there. You can't survive over there. That's why you bought yourself over here. And then now you say, oh, bring Sharia law over here. No, you go over there to Sharia law with your worn, torn down buildings. Where even a kid could be, you know, potentially have something strapped on them and then to get everybody real high with the loud boom. No, you go over there. I'm telling you, they never want to go. Like, for instance, you know, a lot of Somalians be Muslim. They'll talk that uh bring, you know, Sharia law over here. No, why don't you go back to Somalia and practice that? Cause they know the game. Then when this place looks like Somalia, then they'll be ready to jump to the next land. Hey, I didn't bring Sharia law. No, you go where Sharia law is at. Which is stank self. So no, it's not Buddha. But even though I'm saying all of this about Islam, it's not Islam either. Islam ain't coming in the name of Christ. Islam ain't coming in the name of Christ. Hebrew Israelites, that's not that's not the name of that's a different name than Christ. And the Christ that you believe in, majority of the time, Hebrews like especially like myself, we don't believe in the same Jesus. Y'all in them churches, y'all teach another Jesus. Y'all are a part of the strong delusion. Now, this right here, this saying I am Christ, Christ giants. Christians, Christians. That's who's coming in the name. When Christians arrive on shores, on quote unquote new lands that they claim they discovered, but it was people already there, they bring their Catholic flag, their Christian flag, to claim the land. I claim this in the name of Christ. Oh, there's people here? Okay, well, that'll make some fine slaves. In the name of Christ. Ain't that what happened? See, they don't like when they don't see men like McClendon and other men like him. They don't like to take the full picture of Christianity. They only like the parts that suits them. Boom. Matthew 7. And I find it so funny that he said, Lord, Lord. Because he know the future. Who say that? But Lord, Lord, didn't we cast devils out in your name, Lord? I mean, I stayed up till 4:00 in the morning cooking chicken, for Pastor's anniversary. Yeah, and you lied on my B-Day. Talking about that's Christ. You lied on my B-Day. You told people that my birthday was December 25th, and I was born in the month of September during the Feast of Tabernacles in the year 4 BC. I didn't rise on Sunday. I rose on Tuesday during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Oh, that's 2 holy feast days that you've totally neglected. Didn't even bother or concern yourself to learn the meaning. Didn't even bother. Because you had to get home and watch the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers and LeBron James, remember? That's what you had to do. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. What's that? To keep the commandments. I just showed you in Revelation. That's the will of the Father. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it. Many will say to me in that day, but Lord, Lord, haven't we prophesied in your name, Lord? I mean, I know I prophesied in your name, sweet Jesus. Oh, my sweet Jesus, you know I prophesied in your name, Lord. Lord, what about all that time we had them revivals? The church was packed. We made all that money. Lord, I thought we saved at least 100 souls that day. And in thy name, Lord, did we cast out devils in your name, Lord? And in thy name, have we done many wonderful works, Lord? Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Remember me, Lord. Remember me, Lord. Oh, Lord, Lord. You know I cast out this McClendon. You know I done cast out them devils in your name, Lord. This McClendon. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. You want to know why you work iniquity? This why you in church on Sunday. Right here. Must not Judaize but resting on the Sabbath, rather than honoring the Lord's day. See, you are a part of this. You are an extension of the Roman Catholic Church. See, you want to dress like this white man? You want to wear the robes like him? You want to be exalted like the Pope? You want people to marvel and follow after you. But yet you have no knowledge. You might have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. That's why they took Maccabees out the Bible, because they didn't want you to know this. But no, they so busy worried about stopping church vloggers. Right here. A lot of y'all gonna burn for this. A lot of y'all. You cannot deny that Christians come from the Roman Catholic Church. This is what the Roman Catholic Church says. Deny the authority of the church, and you have no adequate or reasonable explanation or justification for the substitution of Sunday for Saturday in the third Protestant fourth commandment of God. The Catholic Church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record, September 1st, 1923. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical power and authority in religious matters. C.F. Thomas, Chancellor of Cardinal Gibbons, in answer to a letter regarding change of the Sabbath, November 11th, 1895. But see, these people don't know this stuff. And if they do know it, they are ultimately wicked. Teaching false doctrines. We're saved. From what? Matthew 24 and verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. The scriptures are against these people, man. Every time they open their mouth, they just show. They don't even know the scriptures. That's why they just talk. This is what these pimps and scam artists in the pulpit need to come to the realization of. This is them. They profess that they know God, but in works, they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. This right here is so true. Christians base truth off emotion, not scripture. Yep. This is true. Yep. These are your pastors like McClendon, Wine and Sap, Jakes, Creative Flow of Dollars, and all the ones who I be naming. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them. And you wonder why people are leaving the church. Young people are leaving the church in significant numbers, often cited around 2/3. Due to factors like perceived judgment and hypocrisy. Feeling disconnected, clashing with church stances on social issues, conflicting work, college schedules, and church experiences, feeling inauthentic, boring, or anti-science. While some leave, while some leave due to outright disbelief, many simply drift away, finding their faith irrelevant or their church's culture unappealing as they transition into adulthood, with reasons often revolving around shallow faith. Not from them, from the people who are supposed to be leaders. Lack of warmth. This is how they were.
I get so sick of sisters, I don't know what to do.
See?
I'm sick of sisters. And half the time bringing them in somebody's church, fanning over somebody's choir, I'm sick of sisters. Just sick of them.
Oh, lack of warmth, huh? Yeah. Or feeling repressed. Feeling members are judgmental. Key reasons for leaving. Judgment and hypocrisy. That's the number one key reason at the top of the list. Feeling members are judgmental or hypocritical is a major factor. And often they are. Top 5 reasons right here. Look at number 2. I moved to college and stopped attending church. Okay, what about after college? You think they came back? Maybe 1 or 2, maybe a few. For the most part, no. Look at number 2. Church members seem judgmental or hypocritical. Roughly a third of Americans reading scripture weekly or more, while many others seldom read. More recent studies suggest a potential rebound, but generally, less than half of U.S. adults engage with the Bible weekly outside of church. Around 35% of U.S. adults read scriptures at least once a week. A 2025 Pew report indicated that 22% read scripture outside services weekly, but a large chunk, nearly half, engage monthly or less, with high interest in understanding its application to life. This is not good. So, with 10 churches within a 2-block radius, and you study seeing churches going up because they study opening up these businesses.
Church has reportedly collected an estimated $420 billion in tithes since 1980. This figure, appearing in a 2016 New York Times article, highlights the significant financial contributions.
Told you, I'm not lying. I've been doing this for 10 plus years now. I know what I'm talking about. And my name I know what I'm talking about is real. That other one from Juanita buying that hoe, that's how you know when she's scamming you. When she's scamming you and when she lying. When she get to talking real fast and say, I know what I'm talking about. She lying. And I ain't asked you for a dime, but I do thank you for your time. Have a blessed day. Love ya.